Good day, everyone. I'm Eileen.
I'm Jason Howell.
And I'm Ron Richards.
And this is all about Android, your source for the latest news, hardware, and apps for Android users. Today, we're going to talk Honeycomb, Xoom, and SMS app alternatives. And joining us today is special guest Kevin Purdy, Lifehacker editor and author of the Complete Android Guide. Hello, Kevin. Welcome.
Hello, everybody.
Welcome to our lair. So in case anybody doesn't know who you are, well, I introduced you, but a couple other things is they want to know what Android device you're using.
Okay, well, two of them technically right now, but we'll get to the other one later. But my main one is a Nexus 1.
Aha. I've used that.
Are you already feeling the pressure to kind of upgrade and switch to something else?
T-Mobile contract's up in March, so I guess that's the March, May or something like that.
Nexus S is sexy.
Yeah,
I upgraded from the Nexus 1 to the Nexus S, and I'm never looking back. So.
Yeah, I like the Nexus S. I had one for a month, and but we'll see what happens when it's pedal to the floor time.
Right.
All right. Well, thank you again for joining us and joining our lair.
That's right.
Our show here. We've got a lot of news to go through, and you have a device that we really want to talk about.
Oh, yes.
Yes. So we'll get to that in just a little bit. But first up in the news, Nexus S 2.3.3 update adjusts screen colors temperature.
Mm-hmm.
You know what?
They rolled out an update, and it basically turned it from slight blue to slight yellow.
Okay, Ron, did you get I did not. I don't have my update yet. I
haven't gotten the update either, and if I got it, I didn't notice it. So, but I'm going to check right now if it's pushed out an update to me, and I just didn't install it yet. But I haven't noticed anything different.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the over-the-air update.
A lot of chatter on sites like GDGT, Gadget, or whatnot. People really don't like it when you take their phones from cool to warm.
It's interesting that they would even notice. It looks, when it's side by side, it looks so very faint that you have to really be nitpicking to see it, as far as I'm concerned. But
Google's official explanation in a forum thread on the Nexus S user site was that they want that with 2.3 being such a black kind of dark oriented OS that they wanted the blacks to look more natural in low light situations or low screen brightness situations, which is pretty wonky, but man, they kind of underestimated how people would react to that.
Well, the AMOLED screen is just so gorgeous. So
I
don't think your eye. I'm sure. Well, I don't have the update yet, but I'm sure you could tell right off the bat. Is my guess.
Hey, if I had to choose, I want my phone to be cool.
I want my phone to be cool too.
It's a social thing, so.
Well, displays a lot of times will give you the ability to tweak these settings. So maybe that's what they should build into these phones going forward, is some sort of a master display control. I'm sure there's an app for that.
Well, there's like color warmth or because there's color calibrations. Like you can calibrate your monitor, your flat screen monitor. Exactly. Which, by the way, I did that a couple of years ago. One of my coworkers showed me how to do that on the Mac, and it completely changed my world. Like it calibrated my laptop screen to the display, and everything got brighter and got way better. And I was like, wow, that's a kind of like hidden thing that people don't know about, which they can put into these phones. I don't see why not. So yeah.
Well, maybe that will be the solution for everyone who doesn't like the new color temperature. All right. Also with Android 2.3.3, a kernel change which allows for non-root, non-SDK screenshots.
Finally.
I have been waiting for this, and I still don't have it because I don't have the update.
Yeah.
people who write a book about Android, not naming anybody, are very excited about this. Very.
I was just going to say, editors, like people that cover Android in the media and all this type of stuff have been wanting this.
This
so
is
huge. From a PR standpoint, I mean, like it was funny because I just sent to one of my coworkers the instruction how I pull screenshots with the running the SDK and hooking up the USB and it's so annoying. And like that's the one thing I've been envious of iPhone users, that they can just take an instant screenshot. So
and you don't realize how many screenshots you want to take.
Yeah.
I mean, I always want to take screenshots of, check this out, and then tweet it out, blah, 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 and I can't do it.
Yeah. The entirety of damnyouautocorrect.com is based on iPhone screenshots. I mean, Android doesn't have that.
And boy, do we have a lot of damn you autocorrects on the Nexus.
That is
or on the Android as well. So
in general.
All right, moving on. Web top app not exclusive to Atrix. We're hearing. Did you guys hear about this? Maybe the Droid Bionic.
Yeah, well, it sounds like Motorola is saying, the CEO of Motorola, actually, Sanjay Jha, said that it's not exclusive to the Atrix. It's going to be headed to most if not all, of their high-end Android phones. Yeah, I mean, I kind of expected this. I don't know.
Yeah.
It kind of seemed like they were hedging their bets with this, that this would be successful. And I mean, mind you, that still has yet to pan out because it is pretty damn expensive to buy into this. But I mean, it's a nifty thing, and it's something that's been requested, and yeah, it's a no-brainer, I think.
So you're not saying you're going to get one? We're on the Jason Howell. Yeah, when will he upgrade?
I don't know. The Bionic sounds pretty nice.
Yeah?
Yeah. I don't know if I would get it for this, though.
Right.
I wouldn't get it for this if it meant having to also spend $500 for a keyboard dock. But if it's an app that I could use with like Bluetooth keyboard or something like that that extends or send that to a monitor or whatever, and I get the basically the same functionality, then yeah, maybe I'd consider that.
Okay.
For sure.
Kevin, do you have any thoughts about this at all? Do you care? Do you like the Atrix?
I think it's a neat idea, but it's a very proprietary kind of upgrade you're buying into.
Exactly.
Like you were just saying, it's not like a netbook keyboard you can use with any Android phone or any, and especially any other type of phone. So you'd have to really love your phone and be in it for 2 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true.
I mean, that's pretty much the same with any of these. When you buy a new phone, like I'm kind of stuck right now. I have the Motorola Droid, and I have the car navigation and the clock
Look at
dock.
Ron is just like shaking his head. Why do you have the Droid still?
No, just the legacy of Jason and his phone and all this sort of thing.
Yeah, I'm sure people will get sick of hearing about it, but man, I'm stuck on this really old, slow phone. But anyways, so I bought into all these accessories and everything. And when I move to a new phone, I'm gonna have to get all new accessories, a car mount, which I use all the time. So to spend $500 on that type of an accessory that doesn't move from phone to phone, who knows? Maybe it will, but we'll see.
We'll see. All right, moving on. Honeycomb was unveiled at Google.
Woo! The statue.
Dun, dun, dun.
Talk about a fluff piece right here, but hey,
Well,
it's really creepy looking.
It kind of is.
They're all next to each other. So we've got
cupcake coming out of the comb.
What's that?
Nice.
Who knew that the Android was so susceptible to being killed by a bee?
Giant bee.
Like, I'm kind of scared for the Android right now.
Stung by a bee.
If you knew the gender on the bee, you could imply whether like he impregnated the bee or whether he's about to be mauled and eaten by the bee. It's much more complicated and full of meaning than a cupcake.
I might have to cue up some romantic music, some Bow Chicka Wow Wow music. But
my etymology understanding is pretty minimal, though, so apologies. Like I think wrong there.
Well, they're going to have to outdo the next one. We'll see with ice cream.
What would it be? Ice cream.
It's going to be ice cream.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, moving on to hardware. The Motorola Xoom is out, and one of our panelists, Mr. Kevin Purdy, he actually has one.
So
Indeed.
Jealous.
To turn it on, you have to hit it on the back here, which is kind of unique in itself. And then to unlock it, you have to drag a little lock. It's a really nice piece of hardware. And the price is something you'll have to decide for yourself as to whether it's worth $600 with contract, $800 without. But I really like it. I've been using it the last few days to read feeds. I actually use it on my treadmill. It's kind of a really nice watch a show while you're running device. And all the hardware specs that you've probably read about online it really feels smooth when you're navigating. It no lag almost on any application. Just from a market perspective, the only reason I wouldn't get one is the price and also the Netflix Hulu question mark at the end, because that seems kind of almost like a must-have these days for any kind of device where you're going to sit and watch something.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's actually it's really interesting because a friend of mine got a Xoom and called me over the weekend, and he's like, dude, I'm going on a plane and I just want to watch video. How can I, figuring out media on the tablet, the Android whole platform with media isn't as evolved as where the iPad is yet. We don't have Netflix, we don't have Hulu.
Absolutely.
And really what you're left with, even Amazon, it's not quite there, And so what you're left with is that if you want to absorb media on the Xoom, you kind of got to BitTorrent stuff and do stuff it's more hacker these days. It's not as consumer friendly. Yeah.
I have to use a Rock Player, which is a really cool kind of it's like a VLC type app. It plays everything. So I can just transfer my totally legally obtained TV shows to it and watch them with Rock Player. But yeah, if you're not a guy who's really, or a gal who's handy with Handbrake, it's kind of annoying.
Yeah.
And when I say kind of, I mean entirely.
Yeah, I mean, and even somebody who is handy with Handbrake. I mean, like I think I'm of the media elite where I know how to, get files and transfer them and convert them and stuff like that. But it's so annoying, and it's so annoying that I don't do it. It's, and the streaming option, especially if you're using the tablet at home in the gym or stuff like that, where Wi-Fi and even with the 3G network, it's just so easy to get data connection. We should have, I'm surprised Netflix hasn't or Hulu hasn't committed an Android app yet, given the direction that these tablets are going in.
And it'll be interesting to see if Netflix actually does, because didn't they say a little while ago that it was going to be based around the Tegra 2 processor for their DRM requirements?
Right, but they also said that going forward, I believe they said that most of the Netflix apps would be pre-installed. So because the DRM requirements, they need certain. Maybe that's the Tegra 2 thing. They need certain DRM hardware in place. But in terms of the software, it's exactly just like the Android iPhone debate and iPad, tablet thing. It's like if you want kind of more options and buttons to click and more customization, the Xoom is a really cool tablet. If you want a really easy, press here for music experience, you'd probably go with the iPad. But Android 3.0 is looking very, very nice.
Yeah, I mean, I'm already noticing just with Honeycomb and, a lot of the apps are already updating in the store. And I think we're going to see more apps that are only iOS start migrating now that Honeycomb is there. I mean, it's just a matter of time is what I think.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that's certainly happening.
And they're making a big push to sell books, to sell, other stuff to tablet users. It seems like books are already enabled in the market if you want to buy those and browse through them.
Cool. Absolutely.
Now, are you planning on sending that? I would imagine the answer would be yes, but planning on sending it in as getting it upgraded to the LTE as they have offered? You have to part with it for what, 6 days?
For 6 days, yeah, exactly. I can live without it for 6 days. I'm not going to keep it with a Verizon contract myself, but if I did, I would, do so.
So is that what you would recommend to everybody out there? Return it and.
It's kind of like it's a feature that if it's free, you might as well.
If you're going to pay Verizon the $25 a month or whatever for your data, you may as well get the faster data. So I
just think it's a hassle. Quite honestly, it's
why
isn't it just available now? Because
I mean, John Gruber tweeted the famous kind of Mac friendly pundit said, are you kidding me? When he saw that the announcement was that you'd have to send it back to them for 6 days. But
they just wanted to get it out. Of course, he had that response. Of course, Gruber responded that way.
Of course he did. But if you don't want to send it in, don't. If 3G is fine with you, then it's like 98% of devices, and you just have a 3G device. But if you want the LTE, you can have it for free, which is kind of nice.
Now, are you interested in rooting your Xoom? Because the information is out there on how to root it. There is also information about how you can overclock a rooted Xoom to 1.5 gigahertz.
Yeah, I saw that this morning. That was kind of crazy.
You're going to do that and then reset it?
The battery life is okay for me, but I don't think it's amazing. And running it at 1.5, I imagine you'd be burning.
I would imagine so.
That battery
for sure. But it's
going to get hot when you do that, right? Like the whole. Does it feel that? Does it get warm when you use it, or is it? Or
no.
Is it?
But again, without Netflix and Hulu to really test it with, I don't do can't exactly do video rendering. It hasn't gotten hot for me, but the most I've ever done that would really tax it would be high quality YouTube for about 20 minutes. Didn't seem to really get hot or anything.
And it should be noted for all of you, few Xoom users out there, who knows, maybe a lot of you have Zooms right now. And if you do decide to root it, make sure and revert it to factory settings before you send it in for your LTE, because they will check for that, and they won't do it if they see that you have a rooted device.
How's the fingerprints, Kevin, on the device?
Yeah, really, really annoying. And this is my first time having a tablet. I can't really get you an angle, but
wait, I can see a little bit there.
Yeah, it's smudgy. I cleaned it before the show, but it's smudgy as heck, and it's really hard to. But I think it's the same Gorilla Glass, which I believe is used with the iPad, and it's just kind of every once in a while you have to hope you have the right kind of clothing on to wipe it away.
Yeah, I don't really know what you do about that. I mean, some screens are less likely to get smudged. Is that true? I mean, anything that I've had that's touchscreen just gets smudged, and that's just what you do. You get used to wiping it off.
I guess I don't notice it on the phone because it's not such a big piece of glass that can pick up smudges from so many different unique angles.
Totally. That's a really good point.
And you're also not like dragging as far and as long with your fingers as you are with a tablet. But, introduction to smudge.
Right.
But it sounds overall you have a positive experience with the Xoom. And if you're a hardcore Android user, this might be the tablet for you.
Absolutely, yeah. I said at the thing at the top of the show or earlier, I would totally have one and hold on and, buy it myself just as a consumer. The price is just the only sticking point, $800.
That's the thing that kills me is the price and the lack in the Verizon connection and the I just want a Wi-Fi version. You know what I mean? So I don't want I don't actually want any of the 3G guts in there. When I bought my iPad, I just got the Wi-Fi version because I didn't want 3G because I have the hotspot on my phone. So
I fixed it, and other sites have already done a teardown and said that it's a very well-made device and easily repairable, which is iFixit's thing. And they said that really it's the camera and the processors and everything. And they said so basically, it's like you can see why it costs $800 because it is a lot of really high-quality hardware. But to the average user, you don't feel it like that all the time. You don't say you don't like browse the New York Times website and say, "Wow, it's so amazing."
Right.
Just
really,
wow,
you don't.
So many IOs flying through this website. You can't. It's hard to justify $800 when the iPad 2, which is likely coming tomorrow, today, it's going to be probably $500 again at the same price point. So if your whole life is tied in with Verizon and Android, I could see it, but it's a tough call otherwise.
I can't remember. Is there an NFC chip in the Xoom?
Oh, good question. I don't think so because I didn't see the app in the stock apps installed, but like you do on the Nexus S. I don't believe so.
Right.
Okay. Speaking of phones, the Samsung Galaxy S 4G is now available on T-Mobile, touting it as the carrier's fastest smartphone. We have a little video of it here.
It's locking up.
Oh, is it locking up?
Oh, there we go.
There we go. What do you guys think of the new phone? I mean, when this was announced at Mobile World Congress, what do you guys think?
Geez, the Galaxy S is such a popular platform.
I know.
Yeah.
I think there's like 10
this is the really thin
phones.
one, right?
Yeah,
it's super, super thin. That's what impressed me.
Oh, it's a little blurry there.
Do you guys like thin? I mean, do you want to feel that there's a phone in your pocket, or do you really
totally. That's my dream. Is the thinnest phone I can get. Like I don't want I want to put it in my pocket and not know it's there, but still have a formidable vibrate. So it can still get the calls. But if I go back and look at my history of my phones and see that they're just the one trend I see is that they just get thinner and thinner and thinner. So.
Wow.
I go back and forth with that. I mean, this Nexus S is pretty light and thin, but sometimes I feel like I need it to feel a little more concrete.
Exactly. It's kind of a trade-off, right? Between feeling significant enough that it can withstand something bad.
Yeah, that was my one drawback of switching from the Nexus 1 to the Nexus S was the Nexus 1 had that metal kind of had some heft to it, had some feeling to it, and the Nexus S just felt a little more plasticky. But I got over that real quickly.
I like how gadget bloggers just say they use the term hand feel. And that's exactly what it is. It's just such a vague term.
It is.
It has good hand feel.
It does, though. The Nexus S does have a really good hand feel, which is what sold me on it. But then I feel like it's just fragile. It's kind of
you could snap it if you went.
Hey, I had my first drop in New York last week. Yeah, I was getting out of the car and I it was late and whatever. But and when it dropped maybe about 4 feet down to hit the driveway, bounced back up and landed. Totally fine. Nothing happened. The case popped out a little.
Oh, you have a case. I didn't.
Well, no, not the case. Like the actual plastic casing.
Oh.
I don't have a case, and so it popped away. The seam by the power button. That corner, it popped away and I could see some guts and I just pushed it back in and it clicked back into place. I have a little divot, but other than that, no problems at all. Nothing broke, nothing shattered, nothing. It was, but it was a classy drop. I was
classy drop.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. It wasn't.
Consider yourself lucky.
I know, exactly.
Wow. All right. Before we get into apps, I do want to talk a little bit about the BlackBerry Playbook because it might support Android apps. Has anyone played with the Playbook? I have.
I have not.
I kind of like it.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's much smaller than, obviously the Xoom that Kevin has, but it was very responsive when I played with it. And, if they're going to have Android apps, that's kind of cool.
They must be working in the background because, those tablets that came out before, I think the Galaxy Tab, they would not have the market. They would not have the Google apps because Google has a kind of, licensing for those main Google apps. And I can't believe that BlackBerry / RIM would be just coasting on the idea, like, yeah, well, when we get it running, I'm sure Google will approve it.
Yeah, we're competitors. Who cares?
Yeah,
well, I wouldn't be surprised if Google's okay with that, though, because like it's the kind of thing where like Google wants to be ubiquitous, and so it's the kind of thing where I think they would see that as a victory, not as a kind of a deterrent, So
sure, I mean, it depends on how RIM and Google deal with each other. But I guess you're right. I guess Google's probably fine with the whole BlackBerry world being exposed to Android.
Well, it's more exposure. It's more exposure for them on another tablet that is. To me, it seems like a very good, solid tablet. We'll see if anybody, runs with it. But the BlackBerry name, many people love their BlackBerry phone still. And maybe they want to just stick with that, if they're going to upgrade to a tablet, they want to stay with BlackBerry. Why not have, more, and, why not throw in some Android apps there? I don't know.
Sure, as long as Google's getting their ads, their ads placed in those apps, and
exactly,
all that routing is working properly, then why not?
All right, moving on to apps now. We have you mentioned earlier already, Kevin, that ebooks are in the Android market.
Yes, they are.
That's pretty cool. Has anybody bought an ebook yet on the Android market?
Nope, not me.
No,
just grab the free ones.
Actually,
are we all still Kindle people? The Kindle app and. Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. So you're saying that you read?
Oh,
books.
I do.
I listen to a lot of podcasts. I don't read a lot of books. Yes, unfortunately, I'm that guy.
Well, of course, the Kindle app is available for the Xoom, so you can just grab your Kindle books and read it on there too.
Yeah. Well, it's just kind of nice because I know that the Google app, I haven't really used it. The Google Books app is there, so of course there's going to be
It's nice. I mean, I really don't know how to get geeked up about book apps now. I mean, they all have the page turn animation.
Right.
They're all kind of the same.
They all look, they have that, whatever that term is for design that's archaic. But
frankly, I'm going to download all of them and to get the cheapest version of the book that I want,
Right.
Yeah. The only nice thing is that when you're on the horizontal 16:9 layout, it goes to like 2-page layout, and when you flip to vertical, it switches to slowly.
Single.
It switches over to like kind of page flipper, page view, or whatever. So it's nice, but like I said, I really don't know how to get geared up. It's all about selection and about convenience.
Exactly. I would imagine the apps don't matter nearly as much as the marketplace for each of those individual ebook apps.
Okay, also in other news with apps, Contact Sync is disabled in Facebook for Android with the Nexus S update, which I still don't have, repeating that. So my Contact Sync is not disabled yet. Does anybody care? I mean, is anybody a hardcore Facebook user that this is going to affect?
It's funny because I was just looking at this last night, actually, and I don't have Facebook synced to my phone. I have it off currently, but I have it on for Twitter. And I don't have it on for Facebook because I just have too many friends who I'm not actually friends with, that sort of thing. Like I just would muck up my contacts, that sort of thing. But I would imagine somebody who lives and breathes on Facebook, where like if you've got like your core 100 or 150 friends on Facebook and phone numbers are on there and emails, and if you're using that and you become dependent on it and then they turn it off, that kind of sucks.
Yeah, well, that's interesting that you actually say that, because I on my Motorola do have Facebook contacts synced, but I on the Droid have the option to just sync contacts that match up with my contact list, not all Facebook contacts. And I do know that on some Android, specifically I think the Droid X, because Jeff, one of the editors here, showed me this the other day, is that the Droid X is an all or nothing deal unless you set up these custom kind of settings that you have to actually spend time to create, which is kind of strange that it would be different from one to the other. I like having it synced. I would hate for this to disappear, but then when I really think about it, it's like, well, what does that really give me?
You already have them in your contacts, right?
Right.
Well, and sometimes it could be some people that you didn't have their information before you synced it with Facebook, and and that sort of thing. And so the question is that whether or not it's a sync and then write to your contacts list. So if they turn it off, if you don't lose any data, then that's fine. Then just people moving forward, you just don't have that sync happening. Right. But if it removes stuff from your contacts because that sync is off, that's a double suck.
I also think that we're not hardcore. It sounds like we're not hardcore Facebook users, and there are plenty of them out there getting new Android phones every day. So
well, they should just get the Facebook phone when it comes out.
Exactly.
The mythic Facebook phone.
Mythic Facebook phone.
It's also part of Google's ongoing, I guess you'd say, low-level debate with Facebook about data portability and pullout. They had the same kind of back and forth about either signing into Facebook using your Google Contact or importing your Google Contacts to find Facebook friends. And then they put up like a warning page, that said like, by the way, before you do this, you should know that Facebook's going to hold on to your data and you can't get it out. And so I think that's where this stems from is the kind of uncertainty between Google and Facebook about who should be able to pull which data from whom.
I guess what kind of sets me back a little bit on this, and I hope that this doesn't roll out to everything, because I really liked that they did this, that they integrated apps that I happen, or services that I happen to use a lot. It's nice to know that Twitter gets integrated into the contacts and that Facebook gets integrated in the contacts. I like that full integrated experience. To then break it apart later, I don't know. I just hope that they bring back the option in some way or another.
Right.
Or figure it out.
Okay, and one more piece of app news. Visual voicemail app, which has been downloaded about 1 million times, has been pulled from the Android market, and people are accusing Google of pulling an Apple.
Oh.
There's
I haven't used this
fingers
app.
are being pointed.
Don't know where to go on this one.
I don't really know.
Well, do we know why it was pulled, or?
Well, let's see. When developers at Phone Fusion asked the reasonable question why, they were simply directed to Section 3.3 of the Android Market Developer Distribution Agreement, which says, if you want to collect fees after the free trial expires, you must collect all fees for the full version of the product through the payment processor on the market. All fees received by developers for products distributed via the market must be processed by the market's payment processor.
So I guess this is saying, if it's offered through the market, then you need to play by the market's rules.
Yes.
If you're offering something outside of the market, which a lot of apps do, I know that Launcher Pro, which I talked about last week, I don't think you buy that license through the market. You buy it outside. They could probably choose to do this differently, but
so it's just that Google's going to start cracking down on their terms and conditions with developers. That's all it is.
Yes.
I mean that's the biggest kind of concern here. I don't think this is it's because Google has a visual voicemail app or any sort of app conflict like that. It's because they want people to start playing by their rules, which is I guess that's pulling an Apple as well. So
pulling an Apple is a really misleading headline because it makes you think about the whole you can't make an app that replicates a phone function. Rule.
Yeah.
But whereas really it's just, wonky inside rules.
Right.
around the market.
Okay. Well, we have some new apps. Do we go to the arena yet?
Yeah, I think it's time we do the arena.
To enter, one lives. Android Arena.
That thing cracks me up.
I love that graphic. Yeah. I love that graphic. Now, we are going to talk about SMS apps today, and all four of us have very differing apps to replace your current or your stock SMS app. But before that, I do want to mention a couple of new apps that have launched in the Android market since we have last done our show. One of them is Chomp. I don't know if you've heard of this, but it's been on the iOS platform for a while now, and it's an app suggestion service. I love this app, quite honestly. Oh, it's kind of really bright here.
I'll dial it down.
Oh, you'll dial it down? Okay. Basically, and if you already have an account with the iOS and you have an Android, you can apparently merge the two. I have not been able to do that. Hello, Chomp. But basically, it looks at, again, it's a suggestion service. So it can identify, these are the apps that I already have on my phone. And then you just do a quick, do you like it or you don't like it? And then you can leave a quick comment, whatever you want to say. Love, I don't even know if I really love this app, but love it. I'm just
they're just so lucky. They got Eileen's seal of approval.
Save review. See, I don't have my account. I haven't been able to log into my account that I already have. But now this is not working here. Sorry, guys. I'm just going to go back here to show you the actual app itself.
So is it more meant to be like a social market kind of experience?
Yes, absolutely. So, and then they're giving you tabs of like, okay, look, here's entertainment apps. These are some suggested apps that you might want to download. If you already have it, you can review it. And
this right here, I think,
all
is
the reviews.
What really caught my eye is the fact that you can pull up the apps based around a search and just kind of flip side to side and preview them really quickly, which is something that's very difficult to do on your phone in the Android market.
That's really neat.
And then you can read reviews from other people who have already downloaded the app, love it, so good, loving it. And, it's a really great discovery app for a lot of the other apps that are in the App Store. Look, on sale. What's on sale? Oh, Apps Desk 4 is on sale. That's great. Maybe I
your favorite.
Maybe I might want to get. Nobody has reviewed it. Oh, okay.
It's an interesting problem that they're solving, because that as more and more people are developing more apps, it becomes harder and harder to find good apps. I mean, especially us, reviewing apps and talking about them and writing about them. It's like you got to dig through a lot of crap to get to the good stuff. So this is a great kind of way to, if they're using the community to bubble up good apps that aren't being promoted in the the Android marketplace. Who I slipped on the Amazon thing. The Android marketplace.
That's okay. There's a lot of markets out there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and you can actually purchase Soul camera. I think I might want to get it, and then I guess it'll launch, taking you to the Android market. So it's very convenient. And I would just do a search, look around, start. It's free.
It's like a market front end, basically.
Yeah, it's
which
free.
is similar actually to AppBrain in a sense.
Very similar to AppBrain. Yeah.
Has a little more polish than AppBrain.
It totally does.
Looking at it.
Yeah.
It looks enjoyable to use, where AppBrain sometimes you get into it and I just want to get out of here. I don't know. This looks like I could get lost in it a little bit. You know what I mean?
You
get
totally
lost
can.
in the exploration. AppBrain, I don't get that.
Yeah. So check it out, Chomp. It is available in the Android market, and it is free.
Nice.
Okay. Also, today just launched Food Spotting Lite. And I'm really excited. I don't know who, I do know. Ron, you are a Food Spotting user, and you've actually had the beta for this app for quite a while, haven't you?
Yes, yeah. I'm a big fan of Food Spotting. It's one of my favorite sites that's popped up over the past year, because I'm a big, in addition to being into tech and things like that, I'm also into food. I'm a bit of a foodie. And so when they were developing their Android app, they were cool enough to hook me up with a preview of it a couple of weeks ago and got to check it out. And basically, the app's been available for the iPhone for a while. So it's not really, it's not too different from what's going on the iOS side of the fence. But basically what it allows you to do is that the whole idea is of Food Spotting is that as you go to restaurants and as you have dishes, take a picture of what you're eating, tag it, and post, tell everybody where you are and what the dish is, and give it a nom if you like it, or if you like it, or and you can look at other people's dishes and you can identify, I want to try that. And it's really cool because the app uses location-based services, so that if you're walking around in a neighborhood you've never been in before, you can pull it up and be like, what's good to eat around here? You always ask that. You see 4 different restaurants. How do you know it's any good? You can go see physical pictures of the dishes and then see what people have to say about it.
Oh, that's sweet.
I'm looking at an awesome tofu scramble at Tea Room Cafe, which is just up the street from us here at the cottage.
That looks pretty good.
Yeah.
I could go for that right now.
I'm kind of hungry. Ooh, hot chocolate at the tea. This is great. Oh, the bruschetta.
What's really cool about this is that it's also got all the social linkings that you would expect, so that it's location based. So they do have a link up with Foursquare, Twitter, and Facebook, of course. But I believe this also feeds in with Instagram's new API.
Nice.
And so this might be the first way you can post to Instagram from an Android phone.
No way.
Oh,
is that
interesting.
True?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So from Food Spotting, you can post to Instagram, but then
I believe so.
Can't
I'm looking. I'm checking my
out
email
Instagram
right now where I got the information on Food Spotting.
This is Food Spotting Lite. Now my question is there a Food Spotting
Pro?
That's the question. I don't know, because the app I was given by the Food Spotting team about a month ago didn't say Lite. It was just Food Spotting. Okay. So I don't know what the final release, why they added Lite to it. If they're going to make it subscription based or pay based or something like that, I'm not sure. But I don't know what makes it light. So
okay. Oh, look, there's a little map here. I tabbed to, and you can see all the places that have been tagged here with Food Spotting. Everybody, I don't know. I always take pictures of my food, so why not share it with other people who are also taking pictures of their food, which seems to be a lot of people are doing that same thing.
So I'm looking here at the Mashable article about Food Spotting that Jolie Odell wrote, and it says another related feature is the app's integration with Instagram, the popular iPhone photo editing app that's rumored to be coming to Android soon as well. So here is your first entry to Instagram on the Android.
Awesome.
Which is cool because, that's the one thing, I think, not to get off the Food Spotting topic, but Instagram has pissed me off because of their platform. What do I call it? I call it platform segregation. Where they develop an app and they had, as far as, for a while, they just had no intentions of doing an Android app. But we want to play too. And so now that Instagram's opened up their API, I think you're going to see a lot more Instagram uses seeping their way into Android before they release their own official app. So.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, moving on. One more new app before we get into our challenge with SMS apps. Graphically, and Ron, you should disclose why you love this app, right?
Yes, I'm a little biased because it's my day job. I work for Graphically. And for those who don't know, Graphically is a digital comics platform. And we're really excited because we finally launched, similar to Food Spotting, after a couple of weeks of beta, we finally launched our official app last week. And we were just totally overwhelmed by the amount of positive response from the Android community. We got write-ups in Lifehacker. We got write-ups in Mashable. And Gizmodo made it one of the top apps of the week.
Nice.
And it's really cool because if you're into comics, it's a way to download digital comics. I think the Lifehacker article called us the Spotify of digital comics apps, because a lot of our comics are streaming, and it's the kind of thing where you download and read on the go, as opposed to downloading the file. And it's great. It's also the only place you can get Marvel comics on your Android phone.
Nice.
So it's Marvel's first, kind of entry into Android, which is pretty cool. And what's really cool is that you can, if you use our iPad app or our desktop apps, all of your purchases sync with the Android app. So anything you purchase, you can look at your collection and you can read them on your phone as well. So Android folks, check it out if you're into comics. I mean, again, I'm biased because it's the company I work with, but being an Android guy, I'm really proud of it. So we're really excited for it.
You're sporting 4.5 stars in the Android market. Just saying.
Yeah, it's been building. It's been building, and that's the one thing is that we found how passionate the commenters in the Android marketplace are. I mean, admittedly, we had some bugs from the get-go, and they helped us find them, and we've done I think 4 updates since we launched last week. And the commenters have really responded, and that telling us what's the matter with it, what they want to see fixed by it, and that sort of thing. So.
As an unbiased outsider, I thought it's a really awesome app, and I spent a week with my fellow editor, Whitson at Lifehacker, who wrote the review, and he's a gigantic comics nerd, so he thought it was awesome too.
Awesome. So that's great. That makes my day. So that's great. I'm glad people like it. I'm glad that someone else is on the show here to qualify that.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry, I just downloaded the app, and now I got to input all my information here. So
you do need to sign up for an account and all that sort of stuff, but it's worth it, and it's fun. It's and the transitions are really cool. You can look at the whole page, you can zoom in, you can go panel by panel. It's pretty much got all the functionality of our iOS apps. So
love it.
Nice.
All right.
So
congrats,
check it out,
Ron.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Download, leave a review, leave a rating. So.
All right. Well, moving on, let's go ahead and get into our challenge. SMS apps.
All right.
We're in the arena already. Jason, I'm going to have you go first.
All right. This will be quick. And I'm probably going to be covering the one that I would guess is probably the most heard of, the most popular SMS app.
Yeah, I think it's my goal to have the apps that no one uses.
Right.
Apparently,
I feature all the ones that everybody has. So, but really, the one that I use is HandSent, and I actually only recently started. Sorry, I'm trying to line this up before I take the screenshot. I've only recently started using it just because I tried HandSent probably when I first got my Droid, probably a month afterwards. I just felt like it's kind of slowed down the experience. It doesn't seem to anymore, and I use it all the time. It's very customizable. I think the main thing that I get out of using HandSent is if you've ever seen or used an iPhone, when a text message comes through, it kind of pops up in a window over the top. And the native app that's built into Android doesn't necessarily do that. HandSent allows you to do that. And of course, I can't send myself a text message, so I can't show you what that looks like.
Should I try?
Sure. And if I get it later,
Ron,
then I can
do you
show.
Want to
But you can customize, and if you can't, it's all good because people can log online and check it out too. But it's just very customizable as far as how that's presented to you. It has a quick reply box so that when it pops up, you can just automatically, boom, send your message, send it, and it removes the notification that text message actually came through. So it allows you to kind of turn around text messages very quickly. That's kind of the basic functionality that I've used. There's also inserting quick text, which what I do every day is when I'm leaving here, I open up HandSent, send a message to my wife that just says, I select the quick text that says, leaving now, see you soon. That way she knows when I'm going to be home to help with the baby.
Nice.
So that's very handy. So yeah, I really like it, and it's free. There may be a pay version though. But I don't know what the features are on the pay version.
I don't have Jason. I don't have your phone number, so I can't text you. So I'm sorry.
Oh well, it's no, it's all good.
Just let everyone know.
I was trying to get to that.
That's okay. Don't worry about it.
Well,
thank you.
One of us will text you in just a minute. Ron, why don't you go up next?
Okay, yeah, and it's going to be really similar to what Jason said. Now for the SMS kind of app takeover, SMS replacement apps, I've always kind of avoided because, like I mentioned on the show before, I try to keep my phone at stock for some reason. Like I get really nervous on those apps that replace the native apps. And I don't know why.
Do you have unlimited texting?
I do.
Oh, okay.
But
some of us don't.
I don't know. I just get nervous. But so this was good because it made me challenge it. And so what I did was I downloaded Chomp SMS, which is the one that I've heard the best things about.
Oh, yeah.
And it sounds like it's basically almost the exact same feature set as Handsent. What you'd get is it replaces the native messaging app. So you need to turn off your native messaging app or you're going to get double text messages.
Yes. That warning goes the same for this as well. Hide those notifications, otherwise you'll get double notifications.
Yeah, but so what Chomp does is that it allows you to customize the look and feel of the messaging app. So you can change they have a bunch of different themes. They have the little iPhone-y-esque chat bubbles, which by the way I hate. So I wasn't too pleased by that. But what I did like about Chomp was similar to what you had in Handsent was that they have templates for messaging templates. So if there are people who you write to a lot with the same thing, like I'm on my way home or be right there or talk to you later, it's a one click, it's a one tap to get that message in and make it really quick. I also liked Chomp SMS has, similar to Handsent, the iPhone-esque a little window that pops up when you do get a message and allows you to reply straight from that window. Or you can save it for later and it will give you like a queue of messages you need to write back to. Chomp SMS actually has a really great widget, home screen widget, which will show you all your unread messages and allow you to respond straight from there. So I actually found myself using Chomp way more, like actually text messaging way more because it was cutting out steps that the native app does. Puts in, you pull down the notification window, click on the message, load it up, type the whole thing. And with Chomp, I was doing text messages way faster. So, it also has groups, which I think is really cool. So there's like for example, I go to conventions and conferences and there's always like the same core group of people I'm with and you want to tell people where you are, you set up a group and just send a message and it'll just broadcast it to all of them. So. Yeah.
Sounds very, very similar to Handsent, actually.
Very similar.
The groups are there as well. I do have a screenshot, and I'm going to attempt to do this without revealing the phone number. But let's see. There we go.
However, don't show my phone number.
It's the only one that appeared. But anyways, this is without unlocking the phone. Basically, my screen would come on, and this would pop on, and I could immediately reply. So
that's cool.
And Chopstick's almost exactly the same. Like you get the icon or the avatar of the person if they're in your contact list. That's really cool. So so I don't know. I like it. It's actually I think I'm going to keep on using it. So thank you for making me challenge my preconceived notions of messaging apps.
Absolutely.
Nice, Kevin. I'm going to have you go next. You have it's an alternative, but it's to save you while you're driving, right?
Yes, there are actually quite a few apps that claim to help you deal with text messages and while you're driving, and which of course many states that's illegal, and it's also a very bad idea, very, very bad idea to text while you're driving. I've played with a lot of them, and a lot of them are kind of like halfway there. Like Google's own voice actions in Android 2.2 and above, you still have to hold down the search button to activate it and to, say something to your phone and have it text somebody. And if you want to edit anything you said, it's a lot of, finger tapping and then saying something, blah, blah, blah. DriveSafe.ly, so drive safely with a period before the L and the Y, is a really, really cool app. It is a safe driving app, but it's really complete in what it does, in that you turn it on when you're driving somewhere and you hook it up first with your Gmail account if you'd like, or your email account, and it intercepts your SMS and your email. And when it arrives, it'll speak it out loud to you. It'll say, "Linda just said, hey, want to meet for fries?" And it'll prompt you.
That was a good impression there.
Sorry. No, it's, it's robotic voice, but and also, I wish people called me to meet for fries. So any friends watching, please call me anytime and ask to eat French fries. So it'll speak that out loud. Then it'll ask you for your response, and you'll say, "Awesome. Are we getting the duck fat fries?" And then it'll read it back to you. It'll actually say like, "Okay, sending to Linda. Awesome. we are going to orange kumquat zebra. And you're like, no. And you say, it'll ask you, is that right? And you say no. And then you repeat the sentence a little more, less caffeinated than I'm doing right now. And it will, so it's really hands-free. You're driving and it says you can choose which emails. I think you can even choose a particular email label from Gmail you only want to hear about. So if you have priority inbox going, I think you can only have those read to you as like important things to hit you within the car. So it's a really totally hands-free experience while you're driving. I believe that it's $13.95 a year or $3.95 a month. They often have a lot of like promotions going though, where you can get it for a month free and try it out first if you want it. I think they even have like a kind of gratis freebie period in general. And it works really well. The only drawback I have is that I don't think it works with Google Voice last time I checked. If you get all your text messages through Google Voice, through the app, it can't do that. But actually no SMS apps really can handle that right now. So most people, it's going to work really great. It'll really save you from, fiddling with your phone. So I really enjoy that app.
Nice.
Awesome. Thanks,
great.
Kevin. All right, I'm going to round out the show with an app that they like to say is better than texting. It's Beluga. Check out the little whale here, Beluga app. There he is.
Aww.
Isn't that cute? You guys like beluga whales? Save the beluga whales. No, okay. So really, quite honestly, and they say this on their ad, it's like BBM for iPhone and Android. This is cross-platform, and basically you could have groups. Here, I've started a little conversation with Ron here. Look,
I didn't know that about Ron.
Oh my God. Look, I'm not showing phone numbers, which is great.
Yeah.
And you can create these little pods, and you can invite your current contacts already on your phone to join Beluga. It's completely free. And what I like about it is that now it doesn't have the notification that comes up and pops open in the window, but
you can turn on notifications and have it pop up there and vibrate your phone and all that.
Exactly.
I just sent you a message.
Did you?
Yeah.
We're live. Yes, we're live. And see, so it acts just like a regular texting or IM sort of. You can turn on your location. You can send a photo. You can see on the map where people are. Ooh.
This app totally freaked me out.
Why?
Well, because first off, because we were talking about SMS replacements, and it took me about 10 minutes to realize that this is not SMS. That this is completely. It's a messaging app, which is cool. It's just totally fine. But then it synced with my contacts in a way that I didn't know was happening. And so all of a sudden I just started getting all these alerts that people join Beluga, or that they're available, or that they're on it. And I was just like, and it was all automatically, and it freaked me the hell out. It was just like
Oh, so you had a negative
No, it wasn't
reaction.
negative. It was it was very overwhelming to start, I guess. That's the best way to say it, Okay. But now I see, a bunch of my friends are on it, and I've already got, actually my coworkers at Graphically are on it. We started a pod, we started a group just for us, and so it's pretty cool. So
interesting. I'm still trying to figure out why I use that over SMS.
Regular SMS?
I don't know. I only installed it last night, and you've probably had a lot of experience with it because of the iPhone, right?
And I don't. Yeah, and this is cross-platform. I don't have unlimited texting, so.
There you go.
This is a way for me, but I have to get all of my friends to join.
Exactly.
So that's the caveat. Instead of just having, their phone number and just using the replacement app. It's a little bit different. It's a little trickier way to get free messaging.
Right.
So.
Yeah. But I got to say, I mean, the comparison to BBM is a very good one, because I didn't know about BBM until a couple of months ago. My sister and my brother-in-law have BlackBerries, and all their friends have BlackBerries, and they had a little group, and they're all just frantically doing it. And I'm like, oh, you guys texting away? They're like, no, I'm BBM. And I was like, and so I had them show it to me. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. It's a better way to group messages to groups. I think that's the best way to define it, because honestly, SMS is not meant for groups at all, because you can't reply to all. You can send out a mass message and then just do one-to-ones back, where Beluga lets you send out a mass message and let everybody respond to the thread, which is kind of interesting. So
exactly.
I just don't need another way for people to message me.
I know that's kind of what I'm thinking too. Is another kind of segmented collection of some people, not everyone, that I have to like track. I used it this morning to get in touch with Tom actually, only because when I signed up, he was one of like 4 people in my contact list that is on Beluga. So I was like, oh well.
Did he contact you back? Yeah. Oh, he did.
Yeah, he did respond back. So I guess I could have texted him, but. But anyways, I got to use the app, and hopefully it will get more use.
Well, there you go. There are 4 apps, and we'll have a poll, right?
We will.
Jason didn't set up the poll.
We'll have a poll at the URL below. And I'll put it in post-production. So there will be a URL below right now. So go to the poll and send us your input as far as what you think is probably the best messaging app. Wow, these cover a lot of different ground. So this could be an interesting poll.
Oh, Facebook acquired Beluga.
What?
Breaking news. According to Mashable, Facebook acquires group messaging startup Beluga.
Well, aren't you glad I showed you Beluga today?
No kidding.
Breaking news?
We are breaking news.
Breaking news, yeah. So it says Facebook has snapped up another tech startup. Tuesday's acquisition is Beluga. Lets you send instant group messages. A statement on Beluga's website, we read that the startup's founders are excited to continue to build our vision for mobile group messaging as a part of the Facebook team. Beluga and Facebook are committed to create new and better ways to communicate and share group experiences. So,
well, apparently Facebook thought my little app was worth every free penny that I paid for. Yeah. All right, awesome.
Well, that's great. Yeah, I'm stoked we broke some news on this show.
Yeah.
Breaking news. Yeah.
We're so lucky. You know what? I just wanted to show off, before we go, I wanted to show off a little bit of Graphically on my phone. I downloaded a free, there's Angelus, a free comic. So this is kind of what it looked like. Right? Do I double tap? Can I go closer?
You can, there you go. You can zoom in. No.
Zoom in. Okay.
Yep. And then you just swipe to change the page.
Yep. Oh.
That's awesome. Probably.
Yeah, I need to look at that.
Nice.
Looks pretty good. Kevin,
it's
this is
like
going to
side of a heavy metal van. That's awesome.
Angelus is actually a really cool comic, actually.
This van's rocking.
Kevin, this is going to look amazing on the Zoom.
Oh yeah. Oh
yeah. We've already gotten reports of people on the Zoom. People have hacked their Nooks, their Barnes and Noble Nooks, or Borders Nook or whatever. Who makes Nook? The Nook.
Barnes and Noble.
Barnes and Noble. Yeah. Yep. So, Kevin, have you installed it on the Zoom or?
I am doing so now.
Awesome.
Awesome. Well, I don't know if we have time for emails and voicemails.
I was going to say the emails are about theme songs, which we can go over off air. And I'm sorry to those who wrote awesome theme songs because we do have some good submissions, but we're really trying to figure out a theme. We don't have time to play those on the show. We also have a couple of voicemails because we do actually have a voicemail line. You can call 347-SHOW-AAA, and we're not going to come and tow your truck. But we are going to answer your Android questions.
Maybe we'll do that for next week. We'll
tow their truck?
Yeah, tow their truck.
All right, cool. We'll live stream it on Quick on our Android device. But anyway, so we will do voicemails next week. We're still trying to get the flow of the show down so that we can kind of fit everything in there. So my apologies. I do have some good voicemails, and I'll roll them over to next week.
Awesome.
But that's that.
All right.
I think we have another show coming up on our heels. So
thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Kevin, for joining us.
Yeah, Kevin, thanks so much for coming on. And we will definitely, once we launch the show for real, have you back. This was awesome.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely.
All right.
And Ron, as always, it's been a pleasure.
Thanks for having me. Always a pleasure. Follow me on Twitter at RonXO.
Right on. All right.
All right, Jason.
That's that.
That's
it's a wrap.
Thank you.
See you guys later.
Bye.